We're not on. Oh no. Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas. What is it? No, it won't work. Merry Christmas. 11:21 Christmas Eve. I'm out here doing my Zazoo report. Boy, I'm hoping to see Santa and a sleigh out here. Big tiny reindeer. Maybe Rudolph flying over, you know? The stranger things have happened. Here we go. Am I on? No, I'm on. Now I'm on. That's better. Hey, almost Merry Christmas. Wow. Yeah, my kids are home. My son's husband went to Mass, but I didn't. So I'm going to miss out on the lecture. Why is this thing all choking me up here? Oh no. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, they went to Mass and I didn't. So, because this is my Mass, I can't just go and sit there for an hour and a half while they sing every response to every single word, and they get up there and ask for money, pound people for money, and give them heck for not trying to win some of the sheep. No, I'm not going. Which I know kind of makes me a black sheep in my family, but I don't care. Because this is what I do now, and I don't make any excuses for it. This is my new church. It's not a church. It's just nature. It's just me being, celebrating my own ritual, creating my own ritual with God, right? I spend a few moments looking over the text of the Gospels every week. And this week was particularly, because, okay, so this is what happens, right? Any of you who are Catholic out there, years when Christmas falls on a Monday, right? So you've got to go to church, you've got to go to Mass on Sunday. They got a Sunday Mass for the week, and then the fourth Sunday of Advent Mass, and then you got to go to Mass the next day for Christmas, or like a Vigil Mass, but it doesn't count for the Sunday Mass. It only counts for Christmas. So if you've got little kids and stuff, you're not going to go to Mass twice. How are they going to know? They just want to get home and get ready for Santa, right? So it's crazy. My Gray, the kid's dad, put it that way. I got to get used to not saying that H word, the hubby word. So that's a new thing this Christmas. We're getting used to that new status of our house. But see, I got to talk about this because we're still great friends. Anyway, so I've got to show you this because there's a story in so many things, right? That's the thing with Christmas. Permit me a little story because it's Christmas Eve. This is my stocking, says Leslie. My ex-husband, when we first got married, he had this cousin and his wife who lived out in Somerville, Mass, near Boston, kind of. I think it's Somerville. He was an optometrist. He used to, is that what they call it? No. When they make glasses for people. An optometrist, I guess. Anyway, so his wife actually, she had vision problems, but she was the most amazing, knitter and crocheter. She actually made these as our first married Christmas. And then she made one for each of the boys when they were born. She put our names on here, and she put the little bells. We listened to Watch the Polar Express tonight. 20 years old. They're like, we're going to watch the Polar Express. So I made my baked stuffed shells, and somebody made a salad, and like the lettuce chunks. I know I didn't make it, because I always cut the lettuce in nice little bite-sized pieces. Whoever made it, like big, huge chunks of red pepper and didn't cut anything up, but I didn't have to do it, so I couldn't complain. But anyway, yeah. So see, she made these, and they're actual socks. Like you could put them on, but we hang these up, still by the fireplace. It's all these years later, 28 years later, and we still have these. It's amazing. And then I think I got this one year. What is this? It's a little heart. We went to see a movie before Christmas time, and I gave money for something, so I got like a little gold heart, and I put it on my stocking because it's kind of like the Grinch, It's like at Christmas time his heart grew 3 sizes or whatever. So I still have, and that's how I know it's mine, because it's got the little gold heart on it. And I still hear the bells. Isn't that nice? Ding, 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 ding. But, and actually the funny thing is, my husband's name was Gary. So she actually had made him one, like he has 2, because she must have made him one when he was single, and when she made him for his parents, and then she made him another one, when we got married. So he's got 2. So that's lucky. And I never had anybody make me a stocking before, so it's kind of cool. And the great thing about these, of course, for the boys, is that Santa can fit a lot in here. All kinds of candies, and it got stretched out by all the years. Oh, I just had this image. I'm not going there. All these years, it got stretched out. And a lot of other things. Stop it! It's Christmas. Hey, we're Gen X. What did I say? Sometimes I lapse into tastelessness, but bear with me. This is humor, folks. I'm a humorist, right? If you want like serious Gen X, I don't know if there are any of those people, but most of us are pretty damn funny because we have a lot of good material. Anyway, especially those of us who were raised with a very strict religious background. Anyway, but after all the years of putting like those Bath and Body, the shower gels, mine is more stretched out than the other ones. We put, sometimes I just get lazy, and like if I have socks for the kids, I'll just like throw them in the stocking, and my husband, Gray, always would get like, those chocolate oranges. He likes those dark chocolate, and you smash them. I think he just likes the smashing. Smash them on a table, and they break open, and they've got like dark chocolate and orange, and it's just so good. But so anyway, I'm going to put this over here for the moment, so I gotta not get it wet or anything, because I've got to go home and get ready for Santa, and I have to just do a few things. We've got to make our cinnamon swirl bread. I'm not doing it. I'll let him do that. For the morning, after we open our presents, we have coffee and juice and cinnamon swirl bread. It's like the Pilsner kind where you put the glaze on the top. That was so good. And we had to actually make an extra one because as the boys have grown, they can't just eat one. They go through like a whole loaf, by themselves. So when it's on sale, he picks it up. He'll say, don't get it on your delivery truck. I'll get it for $1.99 a box at the ShopRite. So I let him do that, and I let him make the damn thing, because he's more patient than I am with the little. You've got to squeeze the little packet of glaze to put it on the top of the cinnamon swirl. Oh, so good. And then my contribution. Everybody contributes something. I usually make a nice fruit salad, big thing. I get apples, but you got to put the apples separately with a little lemon juice because they get brown. So the lemons, I put a whole pear, an orange, a few clementines in there. I put walnuts and dried craisins, those sweetened dried cranberries. What else do I put in there? Not grapes. Just all the winter fruit. And grapefruit. You got to have that. See, and that's the thing about Christmas. I made my pretzel buttons. The boys are amazed. I had it all done. I made them as gifts every year. The little pretzel squares, and then you put a Hershey's Kiss, bake them in the oven, then you smush the M&M, the red and green M&Ms on the top, and I make the white hugs and the Hershey's, regular kisses. And then once you harden them in the fridge, then you can put them, I put them in little festive bags or little boxes to give to people who stop by, or, you know, people that maybe they don't eat other kinds of candy, but they'll have a wishy kiss, you know, it's just a little, my French relatives used to call it ninan. My mama used to say, oh, I want to choose a tiny little thing, skinny, my mother, always skinny, skinny. I want a ninan. So, like, if you have a cup of coffee or tea, and you just, you know, after dinner, you just, your dessert stomach isn't quite full. You need a ninan, right? But my grandfather, he was 200-something pounds. He's a big guy. So he'd have this, you know, he'd swoop in to take a cashew or a ninan, and then this, which Gray is very good at, I notice, he has that gene. He taught me, I watched my Pepe, my grandfather growing up, my mother's dad. He'd swoop in, right? Everybody's watching because they want to see, you know, he took him out. He had the sneakiest way of just appearing to take one. And then it's kind of like baseball. It was like a pitch. You go in for the scoop. And the scoop was so quick you wouldn't even see it. It was like whoosh, with his other fingers as he was selecting one nut or one ninan. It would scoop up like a big handful, right? And then you're like, who the hell, you know? I'd go to get one and be like, stunned laugh. Like my grandfather's sitting over there in his chair, eating his ninans or his cashews or whatever. Now that was skill. That's it. And he was an only child. My grandmother was one of 7. And she was a tiny little thing because she never sat down. That woman never sat. I'm like her, you know, my mom is like that. My mom would sit down. But, you know, she would be bossing everybody else around. If she sat down, she'd be telling my dad, no, Ray, that over there, don't do that, that's not what I wanted to do, Ray. Do this and that, and then, you know, and I just want to get out, you know. They didn't want me in the kitchen, so I would just take off, you know. I'd play the organ, you know, I would be assigned. I'd be assigned chores, holiday chores. The people were coming in, my dad would take their coats, you know, greet them, how you doing, blah, blah, you know, superficial niceties. I wasn't good at that. My mom would be in the kitchen, she wouldn't go to the door. She'd be in the kitchen, you go, you know, what the hell are they here so early for? She'd be cooking, sweating in the kitchen, you know, doing stuff. And I'd be like, why is she so stressed out all the time? You know, these people were stressed out on the holidays. I never understood. But, you know, so my dad would go take the coats, say, come on in, have a seat, let's get some hors d'oeuvres, you know. He'd bring out, and then, you know, and then I would take over. Then I would have to either dance, I was the entertainment. I would either tell some jokes, or, you know, do a little tap dance, depending on how old I was, you know. I took tap lessons when I was like 5, till about, I don't know, 7. And then I went on in music lessons. So I learned the organ and then I took up the banjo. But I could play Christmas carols on either one. By the time I was like 12, you know, by the hee-haw years, I was playing, you know, Christmas carols on the banjo. But when I was in the middle childhood years, I was playing the organ really, you know, pretty well. So I would take requests from the audience, you know, and I'd be up there and playing. I didn't get to sit down and, you know, stuff my face. It's just, I never got to have the hors d'oeuvres. Even at my own wedding, I didn't have the freaking hors d'oeuvres. And I was just running over here tonight thinking, I'm tired. I've been working since I was 5. This is humor, folks. You know, yeah, so, you know, and I'm still sort of conforming to other people's, you know, holiday expectations and pivoting, you know, and friends where they pivot. Somebody, you know, here I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have my dad over. You know, a few days ago, I said, I don't know what the boys are doing, but, you know, you're welcome to come over. We're going to have our usual roast beast. You can have the roast beef like in the Grinch. We'll have our roast beef and potatoes, and, you know, Gray cooks them in the bag with the potatoes, and they get roasted, and the carrots get nice and sweet, caramelized. And then we always have the Shady Glen coleslaw, and we'll have rolls or something. And then I made my cherry cream pie every year. Mom would make the cherry cream pie, and usually maybe like a chocolate cream or somebody. My mother-in-law, they used to, oh geez, back in those days. Then we had the French tradition, and then when I got married, it was the Polish tradition, right? So like the meatless night before, the Vigilia or whatever. So we kind of modified it over the years, but they go to church, they have the no meat, and then they go to church and the midnight mass. But the midnight mass now is at 10 o'clock, and my 23-year-old son, I can't stay up till midnight. Are you kidding me? I stay up. I stay up. My kid, the Virgo, right? He's got to be in bed by midnight. So he asked me for a cookbook. Well, he asked Santa. Of course, the only one that he wanted, the one he wanted the most, the bookstore, Barnes & Noble, didn't have it. They had to order it. So he's not going to get it until after Christmas. Thanks for telling Santa on December 23rd what you want for Christmas. I had to go out, scurry around. I had to go to, browse. I'm like going through piles of TJ Maxx, looking for hats and scarves and crap. And then I had to go to the big box store, around the corner, the one that stays open till midnight, and charges $30 for 3 pairs of Hanes underwear. Just a little, I got half off and 20% off, but as a general rule, I don't, usually he gets his own underwear, but he's like, Mom, I want the fancy kind with the stretchy waistband, which they put in the damn box, and then they think they can charge $30 for it. Okay, rant done. Whatever. So I paid it, but I'm not happy about it. Anyway, yeah, so I think that my dad was going to come, right? See the kids. No, apparently he's going over to my cousin's house, which she probably invited him a month ago when I didn't know what we were doing yet. And so he's going over her house. And my aunt and uncle are over there, my mom's sister and her husband, my cousin that I grew up with. She's having my dad on Christmas. And, so I'm like, okay. He's like, well, maybe, why don't we do New Year's? I'll make a meat pie. Well, I got my band party on New Year's. I said, well, Dad, why don't you leave? You get done halfway through the afternoon, right? I'll bring the meat pie over later. Yeah, because I wouldn't see my dad. He's so like, this is what I want to do, and I'm not changing. He never changes his mind after the fact. Me, oh, I was going to do this, but you know what? I'll do that. I change my mind several times a day. People know that I change my mind. But, most of the time, it's to accommodate other people's not wanting to change their minds. So I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm the most stable person around because I'm willing to be flexible. That's a paradox. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the energies today, and Isaiah. I will not be quiet. Yeah, rejoice. Oh yeah. So there's more of this like bridal imagery this week. The bridegroom rejoices in the bride, right? That God is rejoicing in us. If you're with somebody and you're kind of lukewarm on them, that's not a good sign. You could spend the rest of your life with this person, right? Eventually, things are going to fall flat, right? They're going to there's no energy, right? But imagine, people you've been to a wedding, right? Where the people are so into each other, right? A lot of times. The bridegroom is rejoicing. Oh my God, I'm so lucky. I got this beautiful woman. I'm so in love with her, and the bride is, but it's more appropriate, isn't it, to say congratulations to the groom than the bride. It was drummed into our heads. You got to say best wishes to the bride or whatever. You can't ever say congratulations. You bagged yourself a, that guy's got a good job, you lucked out. No, you don't say that. But Dan Fogelberg wrote a song about that. So that's what's coming up today. You know which one I'm talking about. Those are you GenXers. 1980. Same old Lang Syne. Now I always used to get confused as a kid, thinking it was old, O-L-D, but it's all, the actual song, Auld Lang Syne, A-U-L-D, right? And that's a New Year's song. But this is a Christmas song, which, I always cry when I hear the song. Anyway, but here's why it's appropriate, okay? They talk about the birth of Jesus. There's the reading from Matthew. All the begats. This one begat, that one begat, that one begat. And now they say was the father of, because I guess they took begat. There were beginning to be too many begats, so they took them out. And then we have the descendants of Jesus, right? The genealogy, which is always interesting. They got it all backed up. They can prove it, right? And then you have this very concrete, solid, earthbound side of Jesus' lineage, right? Because he needed to come down and be of the earth, right? But he's not of the earth. He's of heaven. He's of the higher realms. Although he, he had to have an ego like most of us, but he didn't have all of the, he was perfectly conscious, right? And a lot of us go through life, we're not, none of us, Maybe Mary was, was conceived that way because she had to be pure to bear Jesus, right? You can't put the new wine in the old skins kind of thing. So this is what it is. It's energy. So, and then you have these angels coming in, as messengers, as in a dream. When Joseph, he found out that she was going to have a baby and he was going to divorce her quietly. He wanted to do the right thing, but, he was afraid. So you have, and Joseph was human, he had fears like all of us, especially this time of year. He didn't know what to do. Here he's going to marry this woman, and he thinks that she's this young, pure girl, whatever. And then he finds out this news. What's he going to think? And of course, the dream. So he has this dream. So there's this element that really can't be explained, like the Polar Express. This is the time. This is the night when not everything in the world can be explained through our senses, through our, some believe and they don't see, right? The Polar Express. Some of us still hear the bell, no? 58 years old and I still hear the bell. But there are people who don't, And that's sad because there's so much to behold that is not of this world. And sometimes you can listen to a song and get that. Now this was 1980, so this is what I was thinking. The whole marriage thing and that whole magical, it's the Christmas Eve kind of feeling where, it is the end of the year. It's a time for reflection, isn't it? Especially with Mercury in retrograde right now. Everybody's on vacation. What can you do? So in the song, Dan Fogelberg, I actually bought his greatest hits album, and it came out in October of '82. But this song came out my sophomore year in high school, 1980, November. So I was 15. I just turned 15. It was from the album Innocent Age. And what I never realized was that the 1812 overture, was that Tchaikovsky? That's where the melody came from, right? And at the end, they bring in Auld Lang Syne. the saxophone. Oh, the saxophone in this song is, oh, so of course, I hear this song, and I think about high school, and I think about my ex-boyfriends, I had this one college boyfriend, I'll never forget, it was the year I had been to Spain, that Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. I was just home from college. I was 20, same age as my kid, who's home from college. My parents, at that age where you kind of still sort of go along with your parents, but you're really not liking it too much. My mother said, "Here, put on that." She got me this, I had this hot pink sweater dress, which was to die for. It was awesome. It fit me very tight, and I had a black patent leather belt and shoes, and stockings. Of course, that's how we dressed back then. I had my big hair, and I really didn't want to go. But my mom had this friend, and she had a son who was 2 years older than me, and who also was in college in Boston. So I went, and, I met him that night. And, and that's, since then, I feel like, sometimes on Christmas Eve, I think about him, what he's doing, and, of course, the way things didn't work out, and, it's that first real serious relationship you have that's not really serious, but you're too young to know. It's just very innocent, but there's connection that stays with you somehow, those people we know when we're in school, when we're, those kinds of things. You get choked up a little bit. So yeah, that was 85. So this song was about meeting this girl. He was in Peoria, Illinois, I guess. He ran into an old flame in the grocery store from 75. Like, this was 1970. He's reminiscing in 1980 about 5 years previous when he ran into her. But she was from high school in the late 60s, because he's a boomer. So, she spills her bag. All this stuff happened. The spilling the bag, the bars weren't open, so they go split a six-pack in her car, and you could see it happening, It all sounds so, but what's happening is, I just have to talk about this. The song is number 7 on the Hot 100 Top 40, 12/27/80. Yeah, so then eventually they run out of things to talk about, as you do, You just reach that point, and then, she married some guy who kept her warm and safe and dry, an architect, right? So she married some guy from security, and he's out there using his gifts, entertaining, and he doesn't like the traveling, but he's living his best, he's using his gifts, right? And they have completely different lives. And there's that moment where each of them think, what if, and there's an alternate life where both of them were together. Well, I guess she ultimately left her husband, they say, in 1980, so I don't know. Her name was Jill. She was an actual person. But the snow turning to rain, I always thought of rain as kind of like, I thought of it as sad when I was a kid. I thought, snow is like pure, it's sort of, but, when you're snowed in, you're stuck, aren't you? You need to be renewed. Snow is, you're isolated, you're cold, you're crystalline, it's ice, you're cold, you're alone. You need renewal, right? You need the spring to come and melt everything, which is what happens at the end of the song. Is the snow turns into rain. So there's been healing, there's been cleansing. You get in the shower, right? And you cleanse everything, right? So talking, it's like the dam's broke. Everything has to come through. Everything has to leave and come out, so you can start anew, right? In the new year. It's like the old man is the old year, and the baby is the new year. So this song is, they named a street in Peoria after him, Fogelberg Parkway. So yeah, and so that's why it's not such a bad thing to have a good cry at the end of the year. Get it all out. Have a good laugh. Have a good, enjoy. Yes, but don't become numb to the reason why we're celebrating, the reason why we're emotional at this time of year and reflective and nostalgic, because it's important, all of it, to feel it all, in the proper way, to let it out, and then go on, renewed. So I wish you. Oh, I think I hear Santa. Oh, oh, oh. He's coming. Coming. Look out. I hope Santa's very good to you. And I hope you have a wonderful, very, very happy Christmas with you and yours. And I will be back next week for my New Year's message. But enjoy. Thank you. Have a blessed Christmas. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.